It is possible to design and build an exact replica of a human head, a target that will allow us to restage the assassination and test exactly what would happen to a human head if shot from 2 locations. There is only one place on Earth where scientists and engineers can create human duplicates: Australia and the laboratory of Adelaide T&E Systems. Here they design and build realistic bodies to test munitions for the defense industry.
It seemed like a very, very difficult task, but one that we were happy to take on. We want to make sure that the surrogate contains all of the elements or all of the parameters that the bullet would actually see on that particular day.
Adelaide T&E Systems begins to design and build our ballistic target. But how could they be certain that it had the exact dimensions of John Kennedy's head? To begin with, Kennedy's known hat size, 7 3/8.
We've actually modelled all of these components based on the circumference of JFK's head. So this is actually a scale model of his head. And straight away we realised that it was going to be a challenging exercise because really we needed to create this skull in one piece.
The design will include all the interior structures of the head, starting with the brain.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Well, I think we can get on to the next step.
Step by step, they create a human head.
We have to build it from the inside out. So we've started with the brain, we're now onto the dura, we'll now pour a skull around the outside, and then we'll finish off with soft tissue.
The team creates a skull, and the final assembly begins.
Okay, well, the brain and dura have been precisely located inside the skull, and the skull material has been cast around it, and that has provided us with the correct bone thicknesses throughout the skull.
The next step involves designing a suitable exterior, soft tissue, molding it with exacting precision around the skull. Only one thing remains to be added, but not now. Just before our test shots, they will inject simulated brain matter inside the skull. Our 4 targets will be as close to human as humanly possible.
But I think in terms of forensic recreation, you need to go to this level of accuracy to actually get the desired result. And whilst we're not sure of what that result will actually be, I think that we've produced 4 models now that will perform in the right way.
Now we need to create a duplicate Dealey Plaza.
And what we're going to do, we have a mock-up of the limousine, which we're going to put on this spot. This is the JFK spot. And way up there is where we're going to fire from.
The first challenge, to duplicate the height, angles, and distances to the Texas School Book Depository and Grassy Knoll.
Right now that hill is, basic hill is about 40 feet higher than where we're standing right now. And of course we need the 67 to 68 feet, so they're going to bring in a scissor lift.
Surveyor Craig Stanton uses lasers to calculate distances and heights. After plotting our height, we put our target car in place. Our special effects team took measurements from Warren Commission records, the former Kennedy limo in Dearborn, Michigan, and the replica limousine to create this accurate interior. The team makes adjustments to exactly match the contours of Dealey Plaza.
Elm Street was a 3-degree downward street.
Elevating the back of the limo will compensate for the slope of the road. Next, our torso is assembled on an adjustable platform.
So what we'll see then is the effect of a bullet on a human skull. We won't necessarily see that back and to the left reaction that you see in the film.
And if we'd have done anything to alter the action of the neck, made it in a semi-relaxed state, we may have introduced even more variables. And really, we want to be looking at what happens to this head when it's impacted by a bullet.
On a nearby range, Michael Yardley works with the rifle.
This is a 6.5mm weapon, exactly the same as Oswald had, and the only change is we put a modern telescopic sight on it because the object of the exercise is accuracy.
The Mannlicher Carcano is nearly 70 years old. and must be sighted in, zeroing the scope to the gun barrel. At noon, additional floors of the Texas School Book Depository arrive in the form of a scissors lift. Our sharpshooter goes to the assassin's simulated window.
Well, someone take me to the 6th floor. It's surprising just how high this angle is. I've taken these shots before, but it really is quite a steep angle. You see, the challenging thing about this shot professionally is we're not just trying to do what Oswald did, but we're trying to put the bullet where he put the bullet. So our target is much, much smaller than Oswald's target.
There will be 3 tests.
Right in this area here.
Hopefully 3 accurate shots. 2 mysteries will be addressed. First, will the debris pattern from our simulated shots duplicate the real pattern as depicted in the Zapruder film? And second, did the cleaning of the limo wipe away important evidence of the sniper's location? If we can make the shots, we may make history. On a California shooting range, we replicated the distances of Dealey Plaza. 3 shots are planned. 1 from Oswald's alleged perch, and 2 from the grassy knoll location. No one knows what weapon would have been used from this alleged knoll position. Michael Yardley selects a Winchester, a more accurate rifle than the Carcano.
So, you're happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Alrighty.
Our first head is now mounted on a rigid crash test dummy neck. To keep the debris pattern consistent, we wanted nothing to vary in movement from test to test. Next, we roll in one final guarantee for our forensic accuracy.
We have the Weather Bureau data, which was taken from just a few miles away. The wind was coming straight at the car at 15 miles per hour, gusting to 20 miles an hour. The limousine had slowed down to between 7 and 8.5 miles an hour. So we've got a total of somewhere between 20 and 25 miles per hour. We want to see how the matter that goes up in the air from that fatal shot, what happens to it. That's why we have a fan.
Everything is ready.
Now, where do you want me to put that bullet precisely?
Well, the theories are that Kennedy was hit in the head somewhere between the ear and the eye and above. So I would say that it would be right in this area here.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Yep.
Let's go.
For his first shot, Michael chambers a soft point round. Any professional assassin who wanted to make sure he killed his target would use this kind of bullet. Yardley takes the first grassy knoll shot. If a second gunman wanted to take no chances, this would have been the result. Complete obliteration of the target. But history and the Zapruder film are clear. That did not happen in Dallas. Now it is time for a second test, using the same ammunition that Lee Harvey Oswald was said to have used. We position the second of our artificial heads. Yardley takes aim. And hits the exact mark.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's an exit wound, and there would have been a dead Jackie right here.
Our test shows that the bullet would have passed through John Kennedy and hit Jackie, killing her as well. In addition, our test shows massive damage to the left side of the skull, an area undamaged in the official autopsy report.
Well, there's no damage at all on the left side of Kennedy.
This result does not correspond to any of the historical evidence, so we may have just proven that there wasn't a gunman on the grassy knoll. What do you think?
That's the way it looks.
Yep.
Now time for a third test, from behind, from our simulated 6th floor window. This shot has to be precise and duplicate the quarter-inch hole that matches existing autopsy records.
What are we basing this bullet point on historically, Gary?
Well, we're basing it on something that the Warren Commission did not have in 1964. The actual autopsy photographs and x-rays of President Kennedy, which were examined officially in the late 1970s. We know that there is a bullet entry hole up in this area and an exit hole in the front. And that's what we're trying to test.
We have 2 heads left.